Today I'd like to do a review of this book, Make Your Bed, by Admiral William H. McRaven. He's a U.S. Navy retired SEAL. I found this book very interesting. It's just about how you can it's called Make Your Bed. That's how you can do 10 little things each day to change your life. I read this book with the thought of my weight loss journey, but you can read this book with anything that's going on in your life. But everything that I read in this book really got me thinking, and I really wanted to share it with you. I highly, highly recommend this book. It's a quick read. It's only 126 pages, but it will change your life. I really believe it will change your life. So anyway, let's start off. There's 10 chapters in the book. I'm going to just kind of review each chapter. He comes up at the beginning of each chapter with something to motivate you for that particular chapter. And then he goes into a story, which I'm not going to share with you because then that would ruin the whole point of the book, because you need to read that. And everything in the story relates to how that one thing can change your life. So the first chapter says, start off by making your bed. How many of us make our bed in the morning? I make my bed every morning. I just can't imagine getting into an unmade bed at the end of the day. It's just something that I really love. I love what it used to be when you went out and stayed at a motel or something like that. They changed your sheets every day. They don't do that anymore. But it was so nice just to get into a bed with, freshly washed, crisp linen sheets or satin sheets or whatever sheets you prefer. But it was just really nice. But he talks about how life is hard, and sometimes there's little things there's nothing you can do about it. That's the fact of life. Life is very hard. So each day you have to wake up, starting your day. They said sometimes you need to start your day accomplishing something. Just some small little task. So if you make your bed in the morning, that's the very first task that you've completed for the day. And let's say that's the only thing you've completed the whole day. You go to bed at night and you haven't accomplished not one other thing. At least you accomplished one thing. You can also go back to that one thing during the day and say, well, you know what? I got up this morning and I made my bed. I accomplished one thing. What's the next thing I want to accomplish? Maybe it's that you want to stay on your plan. Maybe you want to go shopping. Maybe you want to do something. But put that on your list. And once you do it, say that I accomplished it. And at the end of the day, think about all the things you accomplished. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you stayed on your diet. It doesn't have to be that. It would be nice if it was, but it doesn't have to be. You could say, you know what? I got up, I made my bed. That I made a very healthy breakfast. That's another thing I accomplished. I cleaned up after my mess in the kitchen. That's another thing I accomplished. Maybe I talked to somebody and made them feel a little bit better. Once again, something else you have accomplished. So at the end of the day, when you think especially if you've gone off your diet that day, let's say you did everything wrong as far as eating, and at the end of the day, you can say, well, I didn't really follow my plan, but I made my bed this morning. I started off that. And maybe somewhere along the line, you did something nice for somebody. Maybe you paid it forward. Maybe you paid for somebody's meal. Maybe you let somebody go in front of you in line. Maybe you just held the door open for somebody. Think of all the things you accomplished that day rather than the things that you didn't. And remember, make your bed each morning. Just start off by making your bed. Then, like I told you, he started off in that chapter, not just talking about making a bed, obviously, but he went into more detail of things that he did that day to accomplish great things other than making his bed. Chapter 2 is you can't do it alone. You need to share your life. You just need to share your life. Never forget that your success can sometimes mean depending on someone else. I depend on YouTube. I depend on myself, obviously, but it's you need support. You really do. I know that you're the one that decides what you're going to eat. You're the one that decides the food that comes into your house. You are the one that decides it. But sometimes you just need the support of a good friend. Maybe you're tempted to do something, and if you have that friend that you can call and alert, and just say, you know what, I'm like an alcoholic goes to an Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. They have support. I go to Weight Watchers. That's my support. I have friends that I can call, and that's my support. So sometimes you just need to share your life. If you're having difficulties or something, and just say, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm just really not feeling it. A good friend will support you and say, well, maybe today's not the day to worry about it so much, But you know what? Let's try to make smarter choices. Let's try to do the best we can. And tomorrow's a new day, and we'll just start again. So you have that support. And sometimes you just want to prove to that friend, you know what? You're right. Today is just one day. But you know what? I feel better. I feel better after talking to you, and I don't need that, whatever it is. Yeah, I don't need that donut. I don't need that ice cream sundae. I don't need that because I have the companionship of a friend that really knows that I can do this and that I am going to do this. So remember, chapter 2 is you can't do it alone. And I don't mean to keep stressing it, but he goes into great detail about how he can't do it alone and how he needed help and support from other people just to get through his day. Sometimes you just need that. You just need support and help from other people just to get through your day. The third thing he talks about in the 3rd chapter is measure a person by the size of their heart. Prove once again, not only to yourself, but to others that you can accomplish great things no matter how hard it gets. I one time lost, and I know I keep bringing it up, but I have to remind myself that I've done it before and I will do it again. But at one point in my journey, I had lost 96 pounds. And I know that I can accomplish it again. I know I can do it. And I need to prove it not only to myself, but to the people around me. Because a lot of times you get naysayers say, oh yeah, look, she lost 96 pounds, but she gained 50 of it back. What good is she? I may have gained 50 back, but I didn't gain the whole 96 pounds back. Granted, I waited a little bit too long to get back in the saddle and get working at it again. But I'm proving to myself that there is still a hope in me and the strive for success, that I can do it. I just know I can. So chapter 3 tells you to measure a person by the size of their heart. I just think that you have to prove to yourself that you can do it. And you can, and you will. Number 4, we all heard this before, life's not fair. Don't be a sugar cookie. Okay, in this chapter, he goes more into detail about what a sugar cookie is, because he's doing the Navy SEAL program. And sometimes, he's doing his best, he's doing his really, really best, and he's not doing anything wrong. He's just not doing anything wrong. And the drill sergeants want to stress to you that even though you're doing everything right, sometimes things don't go your way. So they call a sugar cookie, what they do is they have to get in their full uniform and then they have to go into the ocean and get themselves completely wet. Then they have to roll around in the sand until all the sand adheres to their bodies, all over their face, their hands, their hair, everywhere. And then they have to go the rest of the day like that, and everybody calls them a sugar cookie. So what he learned in this lesson is to keep moving forward. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, no matter how good you are, you still end up being a sugar cookie. We all have done that. We've gone on our diets. We've been perfect. We've measured. We've weighed. We did everything. We've done our exercising. We've done everything. And then we get on the scale and it doesn't show that we had a loss. And so sometimes we just have to be a sugar cookie. We have to just remember that, sometimes things just aren't fair. But what happened in this chapter is you still end up being a sugar cookie, but don't blame it on misfortune. Stand tall, look to the future, and move on. Sometimes, like in this particular chapter, I'll give you a little clue about this chapter, was like he was doing everything right. And so the drill sergeant had pulled him and his partner, because they had partners when you do the Navy SEAL, and they had to roll around and they had to be a sugar cookie the whole day. And part of being a sugar cookie meant that at the end of the day, you got 2 more hours of extra exercises, which made you more tired for the next day. So the next day was even harder because you're not as well rested, and you work even harder at that. And then you still can't do more because you're tired because you didn't get enough rest the day before. So once again, you're labeled a sugar cookie, and you got to do the same thing over and over and over again. But in the end, spoiler alert, you gained so much strength and knowledge that you were even better because you were able to accept the failures, accept how hard it was, and still continued on. You didn't give up. You continued on even though it got more and more and more difficult. Because how many times I went off my diet today, and so I ate everything that I ate. So then tomorrow I'm going to wake up, I'm going to be a sugar cookie. And I'm going to say, you know what, yesterday was a bust. It was hard yesterday, but you know what, I'm going to just do this. And then each day I ate worse. I didn't improve anything, but every day I tried a little bit more. If you're a daily weigher, you could like have a really bad day and get on the scale the next day and see that you had a gain. Do perfect that day and then get on the scale the very next day and not see a loss. You think, well, how did that happen? So once again, remember, life's not fair. We all know that. Number 5 is don't be afraid of the circus. The circus is something that was related to the in the chapter, which you'd have to read the chapter to get a better understanding, a grasp of it. But what it is when you fail, it always makes it harder to try again. So no one is immune from making mistakes. Use the lesson to motivate yourself, but never be afraid to try again. Don't be afraid of the circus. I know sometimes we just get so discouraged and we just say, it's just not worth it. Why do I want to do this? It's just like I'm on repeat. I keep doing the same things over and over and over again. Just remember, it's like a circus. Just let it go. Just let it go. Number 6 is slide down that obstacle face first. In this chapter, they were trying to beat I'm trying to think of the obstacle course. And in the fastest time, they were trying to break a record. And one of the things that you had to do was go down this rope. I think it was like 3 stories. You had to slide down this rope, and then you did the rest of the obstacle course, and nobody could break the record. And then one year, one guy just decided instead of propelling down the rope, he went head first, which was way faster, obviously, because he slid right. And so he took a chance. And he had the best record, and nobody's beaten it. It's been forever since this record, because I think more people don't want to take the chance of sliding down that rope face first. So remember, life is a struggle, and potential for failure is always all around us. But those who live in fear of failure, hardship, or embarrassment will never live to see their full potential. How many times have we started a diet and we failed? But we're too embarrassed to start again. We're too embarrassed to tell people that, I didn't do it, but I'm going to try it again. Because we're just afraid that we're going to be embarrassed. They're going to, oh yeah, there she goes, Sandy, once again, she's trying to lose weight. You know how Sandy is. She says this, she's on a loop. We'll listen to her because we know in another week or two she's going to be back to her old ways. Don't be embarrassed. As many times as you have to try again, try again. What do you have to lose? Weight. You're going to lose some weight. So just keep trying, and just remember, slide down the obstacle face first. Face your fears. Face whatever it is, and acknowledge that that's what's keeping you and holding you back. Acknowledge what is holding you back. Sometimes it takes just a deep thought. Sometimes if you just meditate, say some prayers or something, you can figure out what exactly is holding you back from reaching your full potential. And number 7 is don't back down from the sharks, which in other words are bullies. Bullies thrive on fear and intimidations. They gain strength from your fear. They are like sharks in the water. They will circle you to see if you are weak or struggling. And if you don't stand your ground, they will strike. So have courage. Especially having a YouTube channel, I get some, not a lot, I get some criticism. I have very thick skin. You can say what you want. I know I'm overweight. I know I'm fat. I know I'm old. I know all of those things. I know I made mistakes. I know all of that. You don't need to put them in the comments in a mean way. I thoroughly enjoy getting supportive comments. Like, well, Sandy, you had that donut. You said you weren't going to have the donut. You need to try a little bit harder. Which is so much better than, you pig. Why did you have that donut? You keep saying you're going to, that is not helpful criticism. Or support even. I can accept support. I can accept some criticism that's meant in a nice way, but any comments that I get from, I've never blocked anybody. I don't block people. I just, if you have the courage to write something behind a keyboard under a fake name, you go right ahead. You are not going to bother me. You are not going to change my life. But the people that really support and encourage me, I can tell by their comments when they're saying something that it's something I really need to hear, and they say it in a nice, gentle way. They don't have to be mean. You can get a point across without being mean. Bullies thrive on that. Anytime, I always think when I went to school, why everybody's so afraid of the bully? Because they don't want to be the one that's the center of the attention of the bully. I don't really care. I really don't care. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I say this all the time. My mother said the reason God put so many people on the earth is because you're not going to like everybody, and not everybody's going to like you. So if you go with that frame of mind through your daily life, you can just fluff off the people that don't matter in your life. If they say something nasty or something, if they're not part of your life, you don't need that in your life. And if there's somebody in your life that's so critical, do you really need to listen to them? Do you really need to have them around you all the time, discouraging you? They're like a bully. They're like a shark in the water. And until you stand up, if you're ever in the water with a shark, what they say is you need to stand your ground and you need to punch them in the nose as hard as you can, and that'll scare them away. Now, I've never encountered a shark. I don't have any intentions of encountering a shark, but I just think that it's the same philosophy that you can use in everyday life. Face up to your bullies. Face up, even if that bully is yourself. Sometimes we are our own worst bullies. Sometimes we really are. We say negative things to ourselves. Don't be a bully. Don't, like you say, well, I never say nasty things to other people. I'm not a bully. Like if you say nasty things, and if you want to say nasty things, look in the mirror, and then you're facing your bully. You're at least facing your bully, and then you're going to look and you're going to see, you know what? I'm the bully. I'm bullying myself. I need to support myself more. We need to do that more often. Number 8 is be your very best in their darkest moments. At some point, we will all confront a dark moment in life, whether it's a death of somebody that you love or something that just crushes your spirit. And that dark moment, reach deep inside. We all have problems in our lives. We all face death, illness, things like that. We all face things that are going to make us think that if I just turn to food, we've been programmed since very early on that if you go to the dentist, at least my dentist when I was growing up, gave you a sucker. I think it was just because they wanted repeat business. But anyway, you got a sucker. If you went to the doctor's office, you got something. If you got hurt, your mother gave you a cookie. You always got something. You got some kind of food-related thing. And food is related with all things. We go have food at a wedding. We have food at a wake. We have, food everywhere. You want to meet up with friends. Let's go to a restaurant. We're going to have food. So we have to learn to control ourselves in our darkest moments and not turn to food. Turn to God if you're, like a Christian, or if you're just somebody that believes in God, not just so much a Christian, but if you believe in God, or if you don't even believe in God, but you believe in a higher power, just turn to whoever motivates you spiritually, because a lot of times spiritually, you're going to just feel so much better because you've done the right thing as far as yourself getting through that dark moment. And chapter 9 says, start singing when you're in the mud up to your neck. We all reach a point sometime in our life that we have to need to sing loudly, smile brightly, and have hope for a better day. Sometimes the day just doesn't turn out the way you want it. You just don't. I love to sing. I have the worst singing voice in the world. I will never win any kind of a Grammy or anything like that. People are not going to say, Sandy, can you belt out a song for me? They're just not. But a lot of times if you're just feeling really low, find some music that you like that's kind of like upbeat. And listen to the music, because, music's going to lift your spirit. And sometimes at your deepest, darkest moments, just having a song, listening to a song is going to brighten your whole outlook in life. It really is. And the last thing that he tells you in the last chapter is don't ever ring the bell. What they tell you, which I'm sure we've all seen G.I. Jane with Demi Moore, if you wanted to get out of the program, you just rang the bell 3 times and they let you out. If you ring the bell, it means you gave up. If you take risks, step up when times are tough, face the bullies, lift your spirits, and never ever give up, then you will change your life forever. And that is so true. Don't quit. Keep going. Take as many timeouts, as many start agains as you need to do, because it's definitely going to make a difference. And I just wanted to read this one little passage at the end of the book, just if I can complete it up, that how he sums up the whole book. Start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, step up when the times are toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never ever give up. If you do these things, then the next generation and the generations that follow will live in a world far better than the one we have today. And what you started today will indeed have changed the world for the better. You don't think that what you're doing for yourself changes the world, but it really does. If you eat healthier, you're going to be around a little bit longer, and your family's going to have you that much longer to enjoy. So definitely read this book. Make your bed, because it just it really did change my life. It changed my whole attitude this week. And if you've read the book, let me know what you thought about it. If you haven't read the book, do you plan on reading the book? I just kind of gave you a quick synopsis. He's got great stories pertaining to each chapter that I didn't go into, but it is a very good read, and I highly, highly recommend it. So I hope you like it, and just let me know your opinions on the book. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I do a daily vlog, so I hope I see you over there sometime. So subscribe and come and join the fun.